this is a public service.
Yeah, we normally, thank you.
Yeah.
Attend to people in the lobby, but when you start talking,
Yeah, no.
I figure this is probably going to be a little lengthy, and I'd rather sit down and listen to what you have to.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, so maybe it won't be lengthy.
Okay, no.
So I came in here today to just get an officer complaint form and the trespass report. So I was trespassed on Wednesday, came back on Friday to have a discussion with Homeland Security. Correct, yeah. So I had, so when I came back on Friday, an Officer Watts, and a few, Scott, I think was another one. And then I don't remember that. I think Watts had a training officer with her. But she had a piece of paper, and I imagine that it was describing the event that occurred on Wednesday. And it had a picture of me on it. I want to know, I'd like that piece of paper. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I guess the biggest question was, how do I phrase that in a public records request so I'm not denied the public records request?
And I gave you my name, but I failed to introduce myself as far as what is it that I do here. I deal with it with the internal investigations. You know, anything that had to do with the conduct of officers, their conduct on the road, and we are also in charge of the public records. Okay. So you're talking to the right person as far as obtaining, you know, any record associated with the event. Because, and this is what we normally tell everyone that comes here, is like, because I wasn't there, I don't know exactly what happened. I'm just listening from your side, but every interaction has to be recorded on the officer's body-worn camera. So normally, once I finish talking to you, I get you information. I'm going to give you also my business card, so you know, we can keep in touch. What I like to do is go back and look at, and you know, if you're interested on getting copies of that video from BWC, I can provide you with that as well. Okay. Can I look at that?
Absolutely. So I think this was from the interaction on Wednesday.
691 is the case number. And this is Wednesday. And at the Social Security office, which is in,
I think it's 1629.
So that's across from 15A.
Yes.
16A, south of that.
So is it recorded in here? I noticed that you're not wearing a body-worn camera.
No, I'm required to wear it whenever I'm on the road.
Okay.
I could probably wear, you know, it's like sometimes when I have interaction with people in the lobby, I do wear it, depending, you know, it's like if I think that the person is going to be rowdy or something concerning. But as far as me talking to you, you know, I felt comfortable that, you know, it's like we can communicate and I'll take notes. There is no cameras in this room. There is a camera somewhere out there in the hallway.
I saw him outside.
I think there is about 3 in the lobby. And I'm not in charge of my office. My lieutenant is off today. You know, normally he will be the one coming down. But you know, he will be aware of your request.
Yeah, and you know, the officer's behavior on Wednesday was great. I mean, I think they did a thorough investigation of what was going on. I think in the end that they were wrong, but I think they still did their due diligence. I think that Lieutenant Whittier maybe began the interaction a little prickly, but I think as time passed in the interaction, things certainly de-escalated, and you know, I can come away from that interaction saying that I think that from my perspective, that you know, Deland did, you know, I think they did a good job there. You know, outside of the fact that I was trespassed from the building, I don't think that was lawful, but you know, that's secondary.
And I'm not, you know, it's like I'm not certain. I've never been to that office, but I know that
yeah, so I brought when I went there that day, I took with me an operational readiness memo from the Department of Homeland Security that gave guidance on the specific law that they were quoting out there. So there was some signage in the lobby. I can't quote the CFR, but there was a CFR in the lobby saying there was no recording. And the readiness memo that I brought with me gave, there was an expressed carve out for members of the press.
Okay.
So, we just had a disagreement about recording in the lobby. I think I was right. They think they were right.
Okay.
But that's the gist of the interaction.
And part of your question is that, I'm going to provide you with a video, BWC from, you want all officers that were present at that time? Any specific one?
If I want to be specific, I don't need anybody's from, how about Merheeb's?
Merheeb's.
And maybe Corporal Salmon, is it Salmon?
Yeah.
But the one I'm more interested in is Officer Watts on Friday.
And that's what, from Friday? And it was the same location?
Same location, yes.
Friday. Yeah, and I'm not familiar with the inside of that building, so I cannot. I will not tell you something that I'm not.
Yeah, no, I completely
educated.
Yeah.
Like here, you can come and film in the lobby. There's no problem. So I don't, it's like.
It is the same there, but there's certainly some ambiguity around the CFR that's in their lobby. A member of the general public can't record in there. Commercial recording can't occur in there. And that's codified in law. But it's the press, it's the news. It's the members of the press that's it's expressly permitted. So.
Oh, okay. And based on that, they issue a trespass. So part of your concern is the disagreement that you have with the officers as far as they making the decision that you would trespass.
Yeah. So yes. So there's a couple yes to that question, but the real I guess the real thing is Friday when Deland showed up on Friday. They had a piece of paper with them that had my picture on it, and I would like that piece of paper. I would like a copy of that piece of paper to know what it said.
Okay. And we're gonna get to the bottom of it as far as. I don't see you said there was a trespass issue, right? Because that is we have a form. It looked like a ticket. That is our trespass form.
Yeah. So they issued a trespass, and I left. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't stay there because I didn't want to get arrested.
Okay.
So they said.
So you want to get a copy of that trespass?
Well,
if there was one completed.
Well, I want whatever that piece of paper was that had my picture on it.
Okay.
I don't know what that was called or what that was, but whatever it is, I would like that.
Okay. Whatever paper, because part of me looking at the video, I can possibly look. If not, we're gonna have to ask her, what kind of paper she had.
Yeah.
So we can provide you.
Yeah, it'll definitely be visible
Right.
on her BBC for sure because she had it in her hand.
Okay. Just about anything that we handle is public record. I will have to look into, is she printed out a copy of the DMV? That is not so much public record because
So it was.
But
I
will lay.
It was a picture from Wednesday because it wasn't.
So it was recent. It looked like a picture that someone take.
And it could have been scraped off the BBC for all I know.
Okay.
But it wasn't my DMV because I didn't give my name.
Okay.
My name's not on this because my desire for anonymity is important to me. My Fourth Amendment rights are very important to me.
Exactly. Just like me as well. I know because I'm in uniform, but when I'm out there,
you're one of the people too.
Amen.
Just not when you're just not
right. But here on this side, but it's like I do care about me working on public records. That when people ask for something that they're supposed to have access to, that they get it, and that I also protect, dealing with the officers, that I protect the rights of the citizens. That because if I allow my officers violate people in the streets, one day it's going to be my family or be myself. So.
And the issue on Wednesday, that's what it comes down to. I was denied my freedom of press rights, and I think that's a serious issue. That's
right.
That's a constitutional right. So I don't take my constitutional rights being violated lightly. And that's why I'm here. To have the discussion for clarity's sake, not to point the finger, just for clarity. They showed up with the document, and I just wondered what that was.
Okay, and I know that part of sometimes having a picture of people in the streets is because whenever we trespass, and you will probably trespass on Wednesday, and you say I'm leaving, we don't have the right to detain you, and a lot of people don't know that it was an issue in the past because people don't understand that. And it's like, no, you cannot go anywhere until you give me an ID and I prepare my paperwork. We can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to let you walk. It's like you already agreed to leave, so you go on your business. So the only way that we can prepare a trespass without having your information, because we cannot get your ID, is to somehow get a description and a picture.
Yeah, that's why I fully expected that paper that she had in her hand, I fully expected it to be a part of this package because, that's reasonable. Exactly. I mean, if I don't give my name, well, how do they know who to trespass?
Exactly. So I'm curious myself because I didn't see it here. That's the one thing that I was looking for.
And I am going to fill out the complaint form, but you said that you handled complaints, so I do have an issue with Officer Watts and her behavior. I think she has a duty to not escalate a situation needlessly.
Okay.
And you'll see from her body-worn camera that she took every opportunity to escalate instead of de-escalate. And the only reason I was there was to seek clarity on the law, and that's why I called the Homeland Security agent to come out there and meet with me. And then I guess he called Deland, and Deland got there before he did. And I wasn't on the property when they showed up, but maybe it's better to just let you watch the videos. But I walked onto the property with Officer Scott after Homeland Security came on, and she just wanted to escalate the situation, not wanting me to stand with the officers. I think I have a right to hear what's being said about me. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't, but I believe that I do.
And you might have a point that, and to be honest, we have policies on how to treat people and how to conduct ourselves, professionally. Now, there is people that don't buy into finding ways to remain professional and talking about, sometimes your tone of voice, the way you communicate with people. We kind of limited on how we control that, but I can tell that some officers don't have the ability to de-escalate like some do.
Yeah.
Me personally, I buy into...
Yeah, you seem like a pretty chill guy.
I buy into verbal judo, and I believe on giving people the opportunity to express themselves. And, that's why let's sit down and, you tell me. listening to people, because that, like part of our job mostly it should be 80% listening and 20% communicating. But some people don't do that. They're not outside the policy, but sometimes it's like the fact that you're expressing that to me is something that I will look into, when I look at the video. And I will also communicate it to my supervisor, is a lieutenant, so he will also be aware, because sometimes what we do is we talk to the supervisors and we try to implement that into the training, that it's like there is better ways to do things, by giving sometimes people in the community a voice and listening to them. And sometimes
and I think the interaction on Wednesday, I felt at the beginning that Lieutenant Whittier was kind of escalating, and Corporal Salmon, I specific to what you just said, I think he really did de-escalate. He made a specific point of bringing my feelings into the, and which I appreciate that. He was saying, well, you might not like the way they're treating you, and I obviously I didn't. So I agreed with that. So I think the whole interaction on Wednesday was good overall, because I have to explain my actions as well. I can't say that I was calm with Lieutenant Whittier. I was not calm with Lieutenant Whittier, because I was not calm in the beginning with Lieutenant Whittier. I'll say that much, but
that's something that is for us to understand as well. That sometimes even me, at some point, I'm probably going to be upset.
Yeah.
Because of the way I'm being treated. If I'm trying to return something at the store and the manager's telling me that, it's like I don't have the right, or maybe my receipt is not readable, I'm gonna be upset. So it's like, it's funny because I'm not taking you out of the subject, but I was just flying the other day and the stewardess came in the plane and said, I need 3 people to get out, and I'm thinking to myself, if she tell me that I have to get out, they're gonna need to put this in. So it's like, yeah, at some point we all humans. Some people don't understand that, and it's like they see you make it. It's like, listen, you have probably at the moment that the reason to be upset.
Yeah, and I was hot. I won't. I was hot because, again, I think I already said it. Our constitutional rights are I take them seriously, and I'm passionate about it. So, I don't want my rights violated. That's that's the bottom line.
I feel like you do. I see, I see videos on YouTube, and it's like I see how often officers, and that's why I told you earlier, if I'm not educated, I'm not going to give you an answer. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you something that I don't know, but it kind of bothers me when I see an officer telling people you don't have the right to do this, or you don't have the right to do that, because it's like, who told you that, or where did you read that? It's like, don't violate.
Yeah, and again, on Wednesday, I think that, I give your officers all of the credit due, because they did do their due diligence. They read the law, but they were kind of backed into a corner by security and Homeland Security, and they were the ones that had to issue the trespass. You know what I mean? I think if Homeland Security was allowed to, if they were allowed to wait until Homeland Security came up and they trespassed me, then there'd be no issue with the land at all. You know what I mean? And I'm not asking for an answer.
No, but it's funny because I see this as well, where we cannot let other agencies manipulate us into doing something that is not.
Yeah, and you'll see that on Raheem's body cam, where he said, the Homeland Security agent said, well, if you could just go ahead and trespass him, well, isn't that convenient? You know what I mean? Well, painting DeLand, forcing DeLand's hand. I don't think that was right, but it happened.
Right. But, it's like we also have to be careful as an agency how we handle situations, because even if it's another agency, it could be a federal agency, but it's like if we don't act within our, like the parameters of the law, we could be violating people's rights, and we have to be careful with that. We have a similar situation, and I don't know if you're from the area, but the school board was trying to trespass people from the building, so we had to, just because they want to trespass, we have to, before we do, we have to educate ourselves because we don't want to, lawsuits and things come out of things, violating people's rights. So it's like before we did, and what we learned is we can ask them to leave their meeting in that situation, the meeting itself, if they're not behaving, accordingly. But they had to be provided with a way to attend the meeting, and that's why they had televisions outside. But we had to make sure that all of that happened, but we could not trespass them from the location. We just can't ask them to leave.
Yeah, because just on now I'm assuming, but because that was public property, and in order to be trespassed from public property, you need to be violating the law.
Right.
That's my understanding of the law.
And it's sometimes in those areas there is gray areas that even I don't understand, because I understand how it works in the courthouse, and they cannot trespass people from the courthouse because people have public business to conduct there. So it will have to be to the point that the person is violating the law, and that point is the only time where you can't just, because of, like a business can tell you, we don't want no business here, we can trespass you.
Yeah.
But in a public building, it's a lot different. So let me see if I got your name.
My name is not on there.
Okay, and you don't have to give me your name. I just need a way.
Yeah, email address would be
okay.
If
you don't mind, right?
Yeah. And Corporal, is it Salmon?
Corporal Salmon.
Corporal Salmon mentioned that Deland was required to respond to emails. And one, is that true? And two, is there a timeline? Is there a timeline attached to them needing to respond to emails?
When you say emails, like you directed an email to?
So I directed a few emails to Corporal Salmon asking questions.
Our policy doesn't specify. You got it. Okay, and I explained that to them.
Yeah.
This is what they were using?
Yeah, that's it. That's everything.
And this is how the trespass comes out? Thank you.
Thank you for tracking that down. That's the piece of paper.
Okay. So I'm interested. I was interested myself to know, and I don't know where they got the picture. I don't know if it was from the
It's
WC.
probably from a body-worn camera. That's Merheeb's body-worn camera.
Okay.
Right as the interaction began.
Yes, there is no requirement for the officers to answer, but if you send an email to the city website, we will respond. And I believe those are the emails that go through the city. Are you familiar with that? We have a Crime Watch.
Well, yeah, I'm familiar
Those will
with.
be answered.
Yeah, okay.
I can assure you, because they go through the chief of police secretary. Some of them that they answered by the chief, and the rest of them they answered by by our office.
Okay.
And when I answer you, you had the email to our office. I didn't give you the business card yet.
No, sir.
And I'm gonna give you my lieutenant's telephone number. Because any issues that you have.
Well, I don't have any issues with you.
No, but in the future, anything, any questions, anything, please. Because, like you said that you will write him an email, but, it's like just in case there is something that you can address it to us, and, like we can assure you that you're going to get an answer.
Okay.
That's one thing that we make a point of.
I appreciate that. And I think I asked.
That will be Lieutenant Millan.
Thank you very much.
My name's the name in the card.
Gotcha. I can't remember who I asked. I know that I asked Officer Scott. I'm not sure if it was Salmon or Whittier on the first encounter. I was asking if you guys receive like constitutional training.
They in the academy, and
So
I know
nothing outside of the academy though.
very seldom and very superficial.
Yeah.
I, as part of, doing public records and not only that, but investigating situations like you're questioning right now, myself and the lieutenant, we spend a lot of time, and I have been more educated on constitutional rights and case law. The last 3 years that I've been working in this office, and I did another 15 on the road, and it's only been the last 3 years that because it is the foundation
yeah.
of how we apply the law. The law is very
it's very gray.
very great.
Yeah.
It's almost like reading the Bible, for those who read it. It's like you have to interpret it a lot. But it's the case law and the Constitution what give you the base to act. And sometimes when can you detain and when you cannot detain, and it's like there is so much case law that is like we advise, especially the new guys, it's like continue to read case law as often as you can, because just because you have an interpretation of it, that doesn't mean that you have a good interpretation until it has been applied in a courtroom. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it has taken this a courtroom, a local county courtroom, the state courtrooms, and then the Supreme Court to make a decision. So all these judges have looked through it, and nobody can make a good decision. That's how difficult the law is. Mm-hmm. So we advise them that, but I do. My supervisor does as well, and sometimes we both cannot come into agreement as far as coming with a good interpretation, because it remains gray. And sometimes in a situation like this, it could be the case that we have to be careful, because, and this is the way I feel, this is my personal feeling, that if I'm not sure, I should.
It's better to err that way, where you're not detaining
on favor of not violating the Constitution. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not sure, 100% sure, it's like I will communicate with you, and this is where I am. It's like I cannot give you an answer, because even sometimes the supervisor doesn't have an answer, but some people want to be as certain of something that they don't know. And I see that on videos where, like, you're not supposed to be filming in here. The law says that, and like, where in the law? Mm-hmm. No, but the law says that, and don't question me, because I have a badge. It's like, no, that's not how it works. So now you got the paper. You want that the complaint form?
Oh, I already got that.
Okay.
Christine was very helpful. She's great.
The best ladies to have a whole team. You see how they keep working on it?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, you want this on a CD, on a DVD? Or I can. We have.
What's the easiest way for you?
The easiest way is the large file transfer over the email from Google.
Yeah, that's
Dropbox. You have that? If you don't have it,
I can still take it off Dropbox.
I think that you can create a quick. If you have any account with Google, like you can do it quickly, and then you can drop it from there. But I'll send it to you that way. If you have any issues downloading it, let me know. Another thing, is like I said, if any questions, I give you my telephone number, but also know that we also charge public records. If you ever need anything, BWC, people don't know, it's like just about anything, we provide it. As long as it's an interaction with the officer with filming it.
Yeah. All right, well, I appreciate that.
All right. So
and I appreciate you sitting down and talking with me today and getting this for me. I do. Yeah. So I mean, if we're all done with that, if I can ask you a question. We were talking about training and your constitutional training. I've been filming police for a little less than a year, and I went into doing this thinking I always ask the officers this question: do you know the 5 freedoms that the First Amendment protects? And I thought when I started, well, maybe 20% of the officers wouldn't know. And in all of the time that I've been doing it, I have yet to meet an officer that knows it. So, it's chilling. It's chilling to the Constitution that the people in charge of protecting our rights, they're not aware of our rights. I think that has a chilling effect on the Constitution. Do you know the 5 freedoms that it protects?
I can give it a shot. You recorded me. That's putting me on the spot. But I have freedom of speech, freedom of, to be about. Well, 2 is too little. Freedom to be about, freedom to.
So you see what I mean? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, and I realize the camera probably, it gives some additional anxiety, about things, but it's chilling. It's chilling to the Constitution. I mean, I think the people have a right to be concerned about things like this, where officers, they don't know. And I would implore you to please, train the officers on the First Amendment. It is, we fought a war over it. You know what I mean? That's it. I'm passionate about constitutional rights, so, when I have these encounters, I come away from them depressed. You know what I mean? I like you. You know what I mean? You've been great, and I can see in a situation out on the road that you wouldn't be the guy violating somebody's rights because you're not that guy. You know what I mean? But I think it's still important that all of the officers, they know these things cold. That I think these are conversations that should be had with the public, with the people. That's my feeling. I don't know. I don't know if you agree or disagree.
No, I agree. Another one was freedom of press.
Yes, sir. So freedom of speech,
freedom of religion,
freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom to petition your government for redress of grievances, and RAPS, religion, assembly.
Freedom to assembly, yes.
So RAPS, RAPPS.
Okay.
That's the acronym that gets it, so I don't ever forget it.
No, but I feel, I agree with you. It's very, very, very important that more than anything is that it's like, we fight crime, but we also have to protect,
Yeah, before you fight crime, you uphold rights. That's what you swore an oath to, right? And that's what, I think that's what some of the sticking point was on Wednesday, because I asked Lieutenant Whittier, did you take an oath? Did you take an oath to the Constitution to uphold my rights? And he wouldn't answer. And, that just riles me up, that seems like to me, that seems like a reasonable question to ask an officer. Did you take an oath to the Constitution? I know you did. It shouldn't be too hard to get you to admit that you did. You know what I mean? So, whoever's in charge of training, DeLand can separate themselves from a lot of other municipalities if they would just put First Amendment training in a block of some sort, because it's so important. It's so important.
But it's not as simple, because we, like I said, we did cover it in the academy, and we go through, like the first.
Yeah, but that's probably like a fire hose,
But there is a lot that goes along with that, to understand it. When can you apply on this little situation, on this big one? It's like, when can you apply when you have to protect someone? I agree with you. So I will send you the videos, the ones that you request, and I'm going to send them.
If it's not an issue, if it's not any issue, I'd like everybody's body worn camera. But if I have to pick and choose, those are the ones that I want. But if it's possible to get everybody's, that'd be ideal. But I understand if that's not. I understand if that's not reasonable. You know what I mean?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
So I look into providing all of them. And like I said, if you have an issue downloading them, I can put them on the disk, and then you can send you another email. I'll tell you they're ready on the front desk, and you can stop by and pick them up.
Okay. I really appreciate you sitting down and talking with me. I really
no
do.
problem.
You have a great day, and you be safe.
You as well.
Thank you. Actually, how about one more question? I asked Christine up front, but on the complaint form, you guys have this section right here about notarizing, and she said, you know, I said I wanted to submit it anonymously, and she said, oh, don't worry about that. You know, you don't have to do it. This is intimidating. You know, I mean, to me, you know, having something like that is intimidating, and I don't know if that's the point of it or not. But if I don't have to do it, why is it here?
I think that point has been brought up. You do have a point. Because with me, I'm like Christine. You know, it's like if you don't want to give us your name, I'm okay. I sign it. You know, it's like you want to be anonymous, and that is your right to be anonymous. And you know, any communication you provide to the department. But you're right. Why is it there?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I'm going to give you just my understanding that if someone makes an accusation, they want to hold people that, you know, it's like this statement that the person is providing is true. But we still receive them. So you're right. Why is that?
And I mean, these days, you guys have body-worn cameras, so there's not, you know, there's an objective record. You know, that body-worn camera is an objective record. You don't need the complainant's information. You've got the video evidence. Right. And then maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just giving you my take, you know, from the position of one of the people. You know
okay.
I mean? So.
And you know, it's like I said, you know, I communicate with my supervisor. I will mention that to him. I know that has been brought up in the past, but I bring that up, you know, again to, you know, it's like why we continue to have this statement in here if we're not really, you know, like demanded. And it could be that it's on the policy and something that needs to be changed in the policy.
Yeah. Thank you again so much.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Take
You have
care.
a great day, all right?
You as well.